Diane is quietly in the background.
Fantastic. Okay, so welcome back, everyone. A quick overview again. We are recording this session. We will send it out afterwards. Please keep your mics on mute, but you can have your videos on if you would like. Please ask any questions in the chat and I'll make sure that we ask them at the end. And to not delay any more, it has been a very fast-paced afternoon already. So if I can introduce Nick Robinson and Diane Dunstan, we will get started. I'll let you introduce yourselves from Grofar. Thanks.
Thank you, Sahir. Good afternoon, everybody, and well done for staying this long. It's been a really interesting afternoon. I hope for your sakes you found it as enjoyable as I have. I noticed the numbers have shrunk a little bit from where we were at 1 o'clock, but I see all the quality people are still here. So that's the main thing. Right, I'm going to share my screen. So if you could just confirm, Sahira, you can see that, then we will crack on.
I will do as soon as it appears.
Oh, you look like you're waiting patiently. Shall I try again?
Yes, nothing came up.
Okay. How's that?
Yes, we have something that you're sharing now. Careers enrichment and work experience.
Great stuff. Thank you very much. So you'll be pleased to know that I'm only going to have 1 or 2 slides, and then I'm going to go in and show you the Grofar platform live rather than taking you through slides, because at the end of the day, there's only so many slides we can all look at without it becoming a little bit difficult. So I don't envy anybody trying to choose which of the platforms today to invest in or how many of them to invest in. It's really difficult when you look at 5 or 6, and I guess I've kind of found something about all of them that I think is very impressive, and certainly the people who've spoken about them are also very knowledgeable and impressive people. So I think you're in very good hands, whichever platform or platforms you choose to invest in. Let's hope I can keep that going by showing you a little bit about Grofar. So as you can see, I'm going to talk to you about Fiona. Fiona is a 13-year-old student, a year 13 student who has been sent an email asking her to book a one-to-one with her careers lead. So she's going to go onto her Grofar to actually go and book that one-to-one, and she'll probably have a little look around it while she's there. So let's go onto the platform now, and let's see what Fiona can see. Now, the first thing to say is that Fiona can access this on her mobile or on her tablet or on her laptop or her desktop. It's optimized so that she's able to see whatever it is that she wants to see on whatever device she wants to see. And you can see there a summary of the amount of activity that Fiona's been involved with. You can see she's been able to personalize with what is quite a striking view of Leicester, I understand. And she's also doesn't like her year 11 picture that comes through from Sims. So she's put her avatar picture on there. And if you knew what she looked like in real life, it's something like that little picture over there. So let's have a little scroll down first of all and see what Fiona can see on her home page. And I'm just going to take you down through this quickly. Fiona has a careers program that can be set up by the school, and therefore she will have a series of different assignments that she can work her way through. It's at the start of the academic year here, so she's only just started on that, but she can go and look at that if she wants to at any stage. She can also create an action plan that relates to careers, and she'll have a different template and wizard to take her through that. Throughout each year that she's at the school, it develops in sophistication in terms of the questions she gets asked. She's able to add goals to her platform, and you can see here that she's completed one of them, but she's yet to complete her UCAS statement, and it looks like she's completed her personal statement. She can go and change these if she wants to at any time, and you get to see these as the careers advisor at the school. Now, you heard colleagues talk about skills before. We're one of the partners with Skills Builder, and we use the Skills Builder skills And as you can see here, each time that Fiona completes an activity and that activity engages various skills, it builds out a spider chart for her. At the school end, you can see at the school level which of those skills have been the most utilised and which have been the least utilised, and that helps you plan what events and what materials and what resources to make available to students. Fiona also gets the opportunity to say what skills that she wants to work on, and she can ascribe a level of confidence to those. If she wants to, she can click on the Edit My Top Skills, and a comprehensive list of skills appears for her to be able to go and edit should she wish to. Scrolling down a little bit more, she gets the opportunity to put her personal interests, her industry sectors, and her job role interests. And these are very useful for her if and when the school has adopted the work experience platform, which allows her to go and choose from a variety of work experiences. We're going to focus today solely on the careers platform, but that's just something there that's for her, that she's useful to her, whether or not the school is adopting the Grofar work experience platform as well. As you can see, Fiona also gets involved with some extracurricular activities, and she's able to list these on here as and when she actually, decides to add to them or indeed amend what she's already got written there. She also has the opportunity to add in any references that she might have. And as you can probably guess, all of this is very, very useful when Fiona is putting together her CV. There's also a calendar that she can go and look at. Gets to see all of the events that have been put in either by herself or by the school. So that is an overview of Fiona's homepage, but there's lots of other stuff that Fiona can do on her profile. So as you can see, there is a button here, which if I click on, then gives Fiona a list of all of the other activities and all of the other stuff that she can do when she logs into the platform. I won't go through all of them, but just to say, if you have a little look down there, you can see all of the different functions and the different resources that are available to Fiona. Now, what I did say is that Fiona had actually been asked to book onto a one-to-one. And so if Fiona clicks on this little purple button over here, she then gets access to various resources that she can do. And if she scrolls over this, you can see she can message her careers department. She can add an activity that she might have completed herself, be it an extracurricular one, or she can book that one-to-one that she's been asked to book. So she can click on the book the one-to-one, and what she then gets to see are all of the slots that have been made available. So if you can imagine at the school end, the school would set up a schedule of which advisors are available and when they're available, and then invite targeted students to book their one-to-ones in that way. So Fiona thinks, I fancy the 9:30 slot, so she'll book that, clicks on that, and that then is done. And what that then does is it allows the advisor back at the school end to see that Fiona has in fact booked onto that meeting, and that's all done for her, and it appears in her diary. So the next thing that Fiona wants to do actually is to go and have a look at her activities, because she remembers that she's got to feed back on an activity that she was involved in last week. She knows this because she's been sent an email, and whilst she could have completed that response simply by replying to the email, she can also complete that response by actually looking in her activity. So she went to this activity here, which is the careers activity, where they went to see a virtual trip to the National Space Centre, and she's invited to write in here exactly what she felt about that activity. What did she learn? Well, in the interest of time, I'm going to give annoying sort of perhaps not year 13 responses, but maybe year 9 responses. And I'll just very quickly whack through these just so that you can see the sorts of feedback that we might get. So did I like the delivery? Yes, I did. It was what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was super useful. And I definitely recommend this to a friend. I'd like to see more on this. I'm not going to share anything here or here, although I could do. I'm only just going to do that in the interests of time this afternoon. So having completed all of my, I now have given feedback to the school. And when we go and look at the platform from the school side of things, we'll be able to see that feedback alongside other students' feedback, which will allow the school to automatically and dynamically produce a report on that event in a quantitative way so that they can very quickly demonstrate to colleagues and to SMT how many people went to the event and what they thought about the event. How often have you been asked as a careers advisor to give feedback on an event? And it's been a real challenge to properly understand what students felt about that event, particularly if it was remote from the school and you haven't had chance to collate that feedback. So I think one of the things that Fiona wanted to do is she was given an indication that she also had an assignment to complete via her program here. And the other thing that she was also told that there were some resources that she can go and look at. So if she goes and looks at these resources, there is a resource bank within Grofar that you get the opportunity to add to as a school. So what Fiona is able to do is go and look at these local resources. She can click on the links that will take her through to them, and she can rate these resources. As you can see, she's already rated some of these, and she's even indicated this one as being one of her favorites. So when she's looking for the resources, she can click through and go and look at the resources again that she's either rated as favorite or 5-star or whatever else it might be. You can see here that you get the ability and opportunity to sort of link these resources into these groups so Fiona can go directly where she wants to in terms of being able to see those resources. So she's done her feedback, she's looked at her resources, she could indeed go and complete an assignment. I'm just going to look at the time to see whether she's got time to do that now. I think she has. So there's a couple of ways in which I could access this. I'll very quickly click into my program here. And what this allows Fiona to get access to is all of the resources that are available to her that you can actually create. Now, I know that there are lots of different assignments here. The one I want is at the bottom. And this was an extra assignment that was created for her. So she can click on this assignment to go and look at it. And this isn't particularly sophisticated because I have to confess I wrote it. So she's invited to feedback on what's the best and worst thing about remote working. And again, in the interest of time, I'm going to be a little bit glib, and I'm just going to put that. If I'd really gone to town, I could here if I wanted to. I could save this as a draft and come back to it, or I could submit the assignment, which is what I've done. Now, the only reason for taking you through that is back at the school can now see which students have completed the assignment and which ones haven't, and they can then go and mark those assignments if there was something for the school. So that's kind of as much as I wanted to show you as far as the student is concerned. Let me leave you perhaps with a couple more seconds to just have a little look at what else is available. There's LMI information. As I said, they can create a personal statement. There's the calendar, the resources, the ability to add notes and attachments, as well as producing their own careers plan. But perhaps the button I've been remiss in showing you is the Generate CV button, because all of those activities that Fiona completes throughout her time at the school, if she hits that purple button there, that will create a CV template. Now, it won't produce the CV for her, but what it will do is it will pull through all of the resources and all of the work that she's done to help her construct that CV. How want to create a CV and they just cannot remember everything. So like many of the other platforms you've seen this afternoon, all of this information stays with Fiona in her passport, so she's able to create this CV and choose which aspects of the work that she's done that are extracurricular or might be relevant to the CV can actually be contained in the platform itself. So that's Fiona. Let's now flick across and let's go and have a look at what the school sees. So now I want you to imagine that you're the careers advisor and you've logged into Grofar. And what you're actually looking at here is a log of all of the careers activities that have been set up in the system. Now, as you get used to what is quite a busy screen, I'll just quickly say that you access all of the other Grofar screens through this green menu bar that sits down the side of the platform. And I'll take you through a couple of these as we move through. The first thing perhaps to show you is that what we're looking at here is all of the careers activities that have been set up. But I wanted to show you the filter button, because the filter button allows you to filter all of the activities, not just the careers one. So if I click on that filter, you can see here, these are all the different kinds of activities that you might choose to filter on if you wanted to go and look at that information in whatever way you wanted to. You could filter it by funding type, form groups, or the different curriculum categories. But what I also wanted you to know is that it shows you which filter has actually been accessed by highlighting it in yellow. So what we're looking at, as you could see from the filter, is all the careers activities. So let's have a little scroll across and let's see what you're able to set up in these activities. This first one here is a lesson, careers in English. You can see which benchmarks this particular lesson is going to engage the pupils in. You can see when it is. You can see how long the activity is for. You can see those all important skills in terms of which skills have been accessed during, or which skills will be accessed during that event. You then get the opportunity to quickly add form groups, or you might just choose to do it by a year group. And very quick and easy to do. And you can even see which funding groups have been accessed during that. So that is all the different ways in which you can access that. But let's go and have a look at this one so I can show you just a little bit more detail about how this has been set up. So just click on this button now, and you'll see here that first of all, we're invited to say what type it is, what the title is, etc. And as I scroll down, we'd set up if there's a lead person who's responsible, how long the activity is for, whether it's recurring, and it works out obviously how much time is spent on it, which of the skills builder skills are going to be engaged during the activity, and crucially, which benchmarks, again, are going to be utilized by completing this activity. You can then say what lesson it's being created through or delivered through, and you can see whether it's a private event or visible to other people in their calendars. Lots and lots of information. Again, you don't have to go and click these students individually, obviously. You can simply ascribe the activity to the year group and even say which businesses are involved in the activity as well. So lots and lots of information there. You can add links and attachments. You can create evaluation. There's so much you can do here that is linked to every activity that you set up. And because of the nature of this wizard, it's super quick and super easy to do. So that's that, and that shows you hopefully the comprehensive nature of these activities. The next thing that I wanted to show you was I wanted to just take you into the dashboard, and one of the dashboards that you can see in the platform is actually the Gatsby benchmark dashboard within the careers dashboard. So we've got these 5 different views on the careers dashboard, and you can see here through the filter that you can go straight to the information that you want to see without necessarily compromising the data that you might be looking at. So if you just want to see a particular year group, you could filter on the year group, or you could filter on bespoke groups of students that you might have set up. You can choose the year. You could even do it by form or by gender or by funding group if you want to. And you can see here, this shows you by that group all of the different all of the different ways in which the Gatsbys have been accessed. And then as they scroll down, you'll get benchmark 1, and it talks you through that, and so on and so forth throughout all of the different benchmarks. Again, I'm aware of the time and aware you've been here now for 3 hours and 20 minutes. So I'm going to try and be as brief as I can. So that effectively shows you the Gatsby benchmarks. I also want to just remind you that you have these different reports here that you can again filter in the same way across tutors. the career service as a whole across students and engagements. So talking to students, let's go and have a quick look at what we can see in the student database. Now, what this is now doing is it's pulling through the information, and it does this on a dynamic basis from your Sims platform. So there's an automatic link, and if you haven't got Sims, it could be Bromcom, it could be whatever it might be. And this pulls through the data from the Sims platform, meeting all of the GDPR restrictions and regulations as you might expect. And what you then see is all of the pupil information that's pulled through. And this is rich. You can see how many hours of provision they've undertaken, how many one-to-ones they've had, all at a glance. And of course, you've got that filter button there where you can go straight to the students that you want to be able to see, and then access the information that way, allowing you to communicate with all of those students if you want to as well. So you've got your business engagements, you can see what funding groups they relate to, and so on and so forth. So this is a grid view that allows you to use, you can access and communicate with lots of students at the same time. Let's go and have a look at Fiona, because she was the student that we looked at first of all. So I've filtered on Fiona here, and if we whiz down, we see Fiona Pasdon, which is my student. So if we click onto Fiona now, what we're now going to do is go and look at the student Fiona and see all of the information that we now have on Fiona. Across the top, we can access all of this information, which takes us into the different sections that you can see. You can see a summary across the top that shows us all of the different activities that she's been involved with. We've obviously got her details in here, and all of the information that Fiona has put into the platform, you can now see as well. So as I scroll down, there's Fiona's individual chart. We could see any student notes that either we want to add or she's added, as well as any attachments that have been put in there. And you'll notice there's information about Wolverhampton University that's something of interest to her. There's all of the numbers that relate to the skills, the top skills, and so on and so forth. And that's a mirror image of the information that you saw that Fiona had put into the platform. The last thing that I wanted to show you in the time that we've got is the feedback that I mentioned to you before. So what this allows us to do is to automatically produce a report on any event, because when we set that event up, it will automatically generate a feedback request. And here's this virtual trip to the Space Centre. And what we're able to see here now is that there are 14 students, and of those 14 students, we requested feedback from 13 of them, and 7 have already completed their feedback. We're able to see again at a high level how many are interested in a similar event and how many would recommend the event to a friend. Pretty good numbers there. But the power of this is being able to produce and generate that report. And in order to do that, we can simply click on a button and download the report here. We can see which students have fed back, and if we wanted to remind the students that haven't yet fed back, we could remind them in one go. So when we go to download the report, it then will invite us to choose which students' comments we want to use. And if you see at the top here, it says, if you don't choose, we'll pick the first 5 for you to make it easy as possible. And we can see the suggested improvements as well as the activity comments. And were I to reproduce the report, which I won't do because of the timings, it would also put in this information that you see across the top. So a really quick and easy way of producing a report on any event. And it's all generated automatically in terms of saying which students have fed back and which ones haven't. And the students can either access it by responding to the emails that are generated to them, or they respond when they actually go into their portal. A quick tour across here to finish. The one-to-one set up the schedules. We've got a full destinations data section where you can send out requests for destinations data to the right students and track who sent them back, helping you identify those at risk of need very easily. There's a section for parents and individuals. You've even got a section on alumni contacts, which pulls through all of the levers into the alumni section, so you can try and keep track of where people are and generate their goodwill, etc. a section on health and safety for those of you that using the WEX platform. That wouldn't appear if you didn't. Business contacts, so you've got a business database in there, and you can even keep track of which businesses are involved with the school and to what extent. Really useful. We've talked about resources, activities. You can produce the careers program, and it helps you through that with a wizard. If you wanted to, that's free of charge. If you just wanted to have a taster at Grofar, by all means ask us, and the rest relates to work experience. So I think in summary, if I flick back to my slideshow, such as it wasn't, you'll quickly see there that hopefully will give you an overview of the whole Grofar platform, and my contact details are there for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. That was, again, very good timing. And we do have a question already. So, yes, we will send out the recording and your contact details after this event. The question that we have is, can activity data be uploaded to Compass Plus in bulk?
So great question. And the simple answer is yes. And we'd be happy to explain how that works.
Fantastic. That's good stuff. I'm sure people will be in touch if they want to know more about that. And I'll just give it another minute or so if there are any more questions to add. Costings, how much does it cost? Yeah,
so we also are mindful of the fact there are very small schools out there. So that would be a price on application. For a normal size school, including everything that you've seen today on the career side, is $995 per school, and for that they'd also get any developments that happen during the lifetime of their subscription. So as other people have stated, there's no hidden costs at all.
That's great, and that's $995 then regardless of how you have.
Yeah, that's the most you can pay for the careers platform, however large your school is.
Is that the careers and the WEX platform?
The WEX platform is priced separately, and be happy to talk to schools about how that's priced as well if they wanted to contact us. I'm just mindful of the fact today was, mostly about careers, so I wanted to focus on that.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, well, I think that might be all of the questions that we have for today. So thank you very much, Nick. And I know Diane was supporting, so thank you to her too. And thank you to all of our audience today for being so patient with a mammoth event. I know 3.5 hours isn't easy to sit through, but many have stuck it out, so that's great. We will be sending out the recordings to all of our careers leaders. If you do have any questions, please do get in touch with those individual presenters. Their contact details will be in the post-event email that we send out in the next few days, certainly by the end of the week. And of course, as usual, support from your EC and the EAN team is always there with your general careers related stuff. A quick reminder to all of our careers leaders that if you have not completed your Compass audit for this term, it is due soon, so please do consider doing that. And I think that is it from me. If any of my team would like to add anything before we finish up.